Well. We have a crew member from the set of It Ends With Us that's getting into all the details on what it was like working with Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. Plus, Bethany Frankel wants us to stop bullying Blake and Meghan Markle. Interesting coming from Miss Bethany Frankel, but let's get into it. You're listening to No Filter with Zack Peter, your go-to source for all the latest pop culture and reality TV tea, served fresh all week long. Now, let's dive in. What's going on, guys? Welcome on in. What's up? Let's get it. Oof, I feel like my hair is a hot mess today. Need a little dry shampoo in this thing. What's up, guys? Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. Let's get it. What's going on? Woo, first, yay. Welcome on into the live. Welcome on in. I appreciate you guys being here and your patience. I know today's show is a teensy bit later than we normally tape, but thank you. In the club, we all fam, and we all here. Lots to get into. The Bethany of it all is so interesting that it's just rich that Bethany Frankel is going on her tickety talk and she's just like, oh my God, everybody, like at this point, like it's now like we're bullying Blake. And also, to be fair, I think that there are some people that are taking it a bit too far with Blake. And I guess Meghan Markle too, but I don't know. The more I dig into Meghan Markle, and we read Revenge by Tom Bauer. Like we've dug into Meghan Markle for few years now, and there are just so many inconsistencies in her story that I don't know. I don't think we're bullying them. It's just I don't know. I feel like the internet and people really well. Also, let's be fair. Bethany Frankel saying that talking about bullying women is rich, considering she terrorized and was terrible to every single woman on Real Housewives of New York when she was on there. She was evil to them, ruthless and toothless, and just hot mess express. But I think that there are things that people are triggered by when it comes to Blake Lively and Meghan Markle. I think it's their lack of authenticity. I think it's the fact that they lie and try to hijack social movements in order to better their own personal agenda. That to me, I think that's what triggers people and that's what makes people upset, right? It's a little different because I just feel like they are very manipulative people. And look at Blake is literally trying to take advantage of the Me Too movement and using this to bury Justin Baldoni. And so we'll get into all of the claims that have now come to light from the set of It Ends With Us, because it is wildly enlightening. And I don't know how much of it I entirely believe, but we'll get into it. When does Judge Levin come back on the protective order? I thought he would have come back by now. We haven't gotten a ruling just yet. I don't know what's delaying the process. I thought he would have had it by Monday, at the latest Tuesday, but now it's Wednesday morning. And as far as I'm aware, I don't think, let me double check. Maybe it came in the last 20 minutes. Nope. Definitely not here yet. So I don't know what's taking him so long. Judge Lehman, we're ready for you. We're ready for the verdict. What's going on with the protective order? Are we going to see Taylor Swift text messages or not? It's hard to make predictions with this type of stuff, but I would imagine he does not grant Blake Lively the protective order. Blake has lost over 100,000 followers on Instagram today. I mean, it's going, right? It keeps getting, let's see, what is she at now? Instagram.com. Blake Lively. I don't even think she really posts on Instagram anymore these days. She's at 44 million. How do you chow? She posted about penguins? What in the coconut tree? Is she posting right now? Hold on. Let's do an analysis of Blake Lively's Instagram. Let's review. Actually, let's do this one. When was she talking about the secret? 43 minutes ago, she posted about the secret life. This Earth Day, dive into the incredible secret lives of penguins. What is this, an hashtag ad? Lives of penguins with breathtaking cinematography by... Who cares? It was a dream and honor to narrate. Oh, she's narrating it?
Brave for their size.
To survive here,
You've just got to be so tough. That's one of the best things I've ever seen in nature.
They live in unexpected places and do surprising things.
That cliff has got to be 50 feet.
That's her voice? Did you guys hear that? I don't know if the audio was playing on your end, but like, huh? What in the what? That is crazy. I don't understand why. Like, what makes her think we want? Well, Secret Lives of Penguins, guys. Oh, and there's only one comment. Oh, so she must have limited her comment. So Ryan Reynolds did this too. If we go on his, maybe we'll go on his next. Yeah, see, look at the comments are limited. The boots, I'm dying. Love that last picture. When did she post this? 11 hours ago. So why is she now doing all of these photos and whatnot? Oh, now she's really trying to promote another simple favor. So she's just using this as an opportunity to, yeah, because she stopped posting 11 weeks ago. And then she did the promotion for another simple favor, which was all these terrible, mean comments. And then it looks like as of a week ago, then she posted the trailer, limited the comments here. Looks so good. Cannot wait to see it. Cannot wait. Like, just really, but it's so interesting. So this is, she has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 comments. Blake Lively, who has how many? She has 44 million followers and she only got 15 comments. This one only has 3 comments. Wow. So excited for this. Feel like we waited for so long. Can't wait to see all of you in the movie. Big hug. So what they do is they limit their comments. Oh yeah, that's the trailer. This is this. Oh, look at her and Anna Kendrick, besties, having martinis. Interesting. Then she posted a photo watching a simple favor opening night, South by Southwest, rock the event. Shout out to the amazing whoever. Oh shit, look, you guys. They literally just copied and pasted this. Shout out to the amazing who doesn't have an ad. I thought that this was like a side note because normally like when they put copy for talent, they like add little side notes or whatever. Thank you to South by Southwest. So she just hashtags the name. Okay, so that's not a typo. Another simple favor. She did her glam and her martini cup. Okay, cute. All these photos. Interesting. I wish somebody would just comment on this and be like, never with teeth, you go Blake. And then she has this montage of photos. Oh, look at, she's always hanging out with Michelle Maroney. But do you know who she's never hanging out with? Unless she seems to, like, this is the only photo she has with Anna Kendrick. Oh my God. Still not Anna Kendrick. Who else? Boots, sunglasses. I don't know. This doesn't really look like the Instagram of a woman that's traumatized right now. Like, I understand she's got to make money and she's got to pay her bills. So something like this makes sense for her to post because she has to, right? But like plain, I don't know. To me, isn't that kind of strange if you're like telling the judge, "Oh my God, judge, I'm traumatized. My children are traumatized. I'm riddled with anxiety." Like that doesn't mean you shouldn't still be able to like live your life, but like to be posting your fashion pics and all that, like isn't that kind of strange? And also, we have her hanging with Michelle Maroney. We have her hugging this random chick over here. Who is this? Sophia, who? Sophia Travis Gallia? Godlia? Interesting. Does she have a photo with Anna Kendrick here? Nope. This is her. Okay, her and Anna. Okay, on stage where they have to be. Oh, here's a photo of her and Anna, but it's a full cast photo. Okay. Here's her and Michelle Maroney posing together. Interesting. Michelle's really standing by her. Which if Anna Kendrick really wanted to, she could stand by her too, but doesn't appear to be. Here's a photo of me and Anna because we're friends, you guys. I love her, even though we have no selfies together. Here's me outside doing press. Here's another group photo with me and Anna. Oh my God, look at he's laughing at my joke because I'm so funny. Me and Paul Feig, who wants everybody to believe that we're not really feuding. And then we have South by Southwest. Okay. Oh, wait, here's her hugging somebody else. Who's this? I don't know who this woman is. Her and some other random women. Her and Michelle Maroney again. So interesting. So interesting. Seems like Michelle Maroney is the only person that's interested in. I love Anna's petty. I took ayahuasca. Yeah. So interesting. And whatever. She looks so traumatized. I feel bad for her. It's just I disagree with Bethany. I don't think that I think that some people are taking it a bit too far, but that's also just the nature of the beast on the internet. Like people say mean things about people all the time. That these are unhinged people that are just not going to be nice to anyone. So okay, well, let's get into this info from the set of It Ends With Us, because I know that's what a lot of you are really here for. It's kind of juicy. So it comes from this woman, Gabriella Hurst, and she claims that she knows somebody on the set of It Ends With Us. Okay, so Gabriella says, I have no interest in convincing anyone or arguing with anyone on whether this information is true or legit or not. I believe my source, so I wanted to share. So Gabriella appears to be someone, she's an avid user in the Team Justin Baldoni Reddit page on Reddit, the subreddit Team Justin Baldoni. She says, now that I've gotten out of the way, I have a source who worked on the set of It Ends With Us, and this is what I was told by them. So, the biceps popping. Look at that. I was working out today. Ooh. Can we screenshot that and like tag me on Instagram? Sorry, I'm being vain right now. I'm being Blake Lively right now, but look at that. Vain. Okay. Sorry. When somebody compliments, it gives me like a physical compliment. I have to like run with it because I'm from Los Angeles and I'm very insecure, as we all are. Okay. Sorry. So this comes from this Gabriella woman. Thank you, Gabriella Hurst, for this tea. So she claims that she knows somebody that the better to choke you with, my dear. She claims that she knows somebody that worked on the set of It Ends With Us. And I went through, I read all the details, I read all the info. To me, it actually, the only reason I'm sharing this, and again, this is an unvetted source. It's all speculation from our end, right? We're trusting this source. But to me, the picture that gets painted of what was going on set actually makes sense into what I think was likely happening. So that's the only reason I'm sharing this. I normally don't like to spread rumors or speculation, but it does sound logical that this is likely what was going on. Okay. It says Justin Baldoni. So this person claims that Justin Baldoni is inexperienced and kind of an idiot, right? Which at first is like, oh, but okay, just bear with me. I'm just going to read you all of this and then we'll discuss afterwards. Or maybe I'll sprinkle in some of my own stuff with it. Okay, so Justin Baldoni is inexperienced and kind of an idiot was the first thing that this source had to say, which to Gabriella meant fighting words, because what do you mean that, does this mean that he's a predator, right? And then they go, oh, no, all of that is BS. So he's not a predator, but the man does not know what he's doing or how to direct a set whatsoever. He had no idea what he was doing. So basically, which kind of makes sense because this is Justin Baldoni's first like major project, right? He's directed before, but I believe the projects that he's directed in the past were a bit smaller and they didn't have an actress like Blake Lively on the set, right? Because he even said that when they secured Blake Lively for this film, it was kind of a big deal and they were really excited because Blake Lively's a big name, right? So let's continue. And so basically by them saying that he was an idiot, they were saying that he couldn't control this set. And so it appeared that he had no control over the cast and crew, and there was no sense of authority or backbone about Justin Baldoni, which does kind of check out. He's a nice guy, right? He wants everybody to talk about what they're grateful for. And so he wants to create a collaborative work environment, which to me would make sense. Okay. My source said he was frequently asking key members their thoughts about the direction for certain scenes, which took them by surprise because technically the director shouldn't be asking for others' advice for the vision or the scene, which again, this makes sense because remember he kept saying like, I wanted Blake and I wanted the intimacy coordinator. I wanted all of these people to have, I wanted to make sure it was painted through the female gaze. Let's continue. They said that he came across very green and just overall not very experienced. Again, this was a bigger set, bigger budget. We had Sony that was a distributor, Blake Lively, based on a popular book by Colleen Hoover. Maybe I shouldn't be that surprised to hear this given how Blake bulldozed him and got away with hijacking everything. But my source said that they were not surprised because it sounds like he was asking for advice and thoughts from both the crew and the cast while they were on set, and like he didn't have a clear direction or vision for lots of scenes. This kind of feels a bit contradictory. Oh yeah, let's not forget toxic positivity is bad. Thank you, Paula. Shout out Paula. I was just on Paula's channel, guys. Paula M. Give Paula some love and a follow. But yes, very true. Let's not forget toxic positivity is bad now. Yeah, but that's a good point, right? Like if he's trying to create a collaborative work environment, he's trying to be really nice to everybody. He wants to make sure that other people have a say. That absolutely makes sense here, right? They said that he was an incredibly nice guy, but came across as a bit naive and not ready necessarily to be directing a feature film of that caliber. Makes sense. They said that they were not surprised whatsoever that Blake ran circles around him. Also makes sense, right? If she sees that this guy is impressionable, if she sees that this guy, is someone that may be a little meek in comparison to her, and I think she looks for these types of people so that she could take advantage of these types of people. As for the production itself, they were behind basically from day one and on. The days would run way over schedule and over budget in the fact that the crew members were having to rack up overtime. That makes sense. And only a crew member would know about how long the days were, clocking in overtime. And the crew's obviously not going to be mad about that because they get paid their overtime fees, right? This made everyone very annoyed and frustrating from the get-go. My source is very close to the first set of ADs, first and second. So these were the assistant directors that I believe were fired by Blake. My source is very close to the first set of ADs team that were hired for this job, and they went through 3 sets of ADs, which is unheard of because Blake allegedly fired 2 sets before the final set came in. More on that later. And it sounds like they tried their best to run a tight ship and keep everything on schedule, but between Justin not being 100% ready with direction for each scene and Blake always running late and being behind, they said 90% of the time it was her fault. They were running behind each day, and it was like poking the hornet's nest when they would try to get her out of her trailer if she wasn't ready because of hair, makeup, wardrobe issues, or something else that wasn't to her liking. So lots of the 16 to 18-hour days for this crew, everyone was very exhausted and frustrated the whole time while filming, and it sounds like a lot of them blamed the ADs or Justin for not reining in Blake, or the producers for not having a chat with Blake, since she was the main problem regarding going over budget because lots of overtime hours and running behind, needing to add extra days and time to the overall shoot schedule, right? And things she doesn't care about. And we've heard, that they would have these really long days. Remember, we heard about the meeting that they had in her trailer where she claims Justin Baldoni was crying. And it was so inappropriate. So it kind of just seems like, and even his voice notes now kind of make sense where he's like trying to be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't hear you out before. And you're right. You've been on other sets and, they didn't take you seriously and blah, 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 blah. Let's continue. My source said Blake, hands down, is the worst person both they and their AD friends have ever worked with by far. Just a miserable person who takes her misery out on others. Now, I believe this because I remember my friend Jeff, who I co-host Disaster Daters with, and he talks about how he used to work for Blake Lively and he used to date her brother. He was going off on Twitter, and he was sharing all these details about, posting on his Instagram, and this is all public, right? He posted these things are out there now. So because he's disclosed this stuff and shared it publicly, now it's out there, public information, but he's been very clear that like working with that family, not pleasant whatsoever. Okay. I don't need to go into detail here, but essentially everything you've heard or read about Blake is true and then some. Extremely insecure and will project or take out her emotions on everyone around her. Very threatened by attractive females or anyone who makes eye contact with her in the wrong way. Remember, we've heard people go on TikTok and they've come out and they've said, if you don't look her in the eye, if you look her in the eye, she's had people removed from sets before. Very insecure about her body, her wardrobe, how she looked this entire time, which made them run behind most days because she was in most scenes. Very, very negative energy. Apparently, Justin was terrified of her, as were all the heads of each department, to the point that all the department heads would filter their comments and concerns and feedback and issues through Justin to communicate to Blake because they were terrified of her. She did make people cry on this set, so he had to constantly waste time doing other people's jobs and being the messenger because they were too afraid or They were worried that they'd be fired if they told her to adjust or change something, which stressed Justin out too, because it sounds like, and I genuinely believe that man was full of anxiety every day and just overwhelmed, because trying to be fair, he was also acting and directing. Acting and directing is not an easy combo. He was also doing a lot of other jobs and wearing other hats because it sounded like no one wanted to deal with Blake directly. Blake got 2 sets of ADs, first and second were fired. There were 3 teams in total over the course of the production shoot. Why? She blamed them for why production was behind and why the studio was losing money, since ADs are in charge of the schedule, which is technically true, but no one would stand up to her or rein her in, which it sounded like was desperately needed, was for somebody to rein her in. So, I mean, it sounds like, I mean, and we heard this from the set of Gossip Girl. Like, this makes me even more pissed. Blake and Ryan. I mean, listen, I'm just giving you the info that's available to us, right? My source was particularly close to the first AD that began working on the shoot from the start, who's female, and Blake apparently was so nasty to her. Apparently, she was somewhat of an attractive female and very, very professional or experienced, that she considered leaving, but wound up being fired instead. I asked time and time again, is there any chance that there was SH harassment or anything creepy or untoward was done by Justin or anyone on that set, and they kept saying no. Apparently, when the New York Times article dropped, my source and other people and friends that kept in touch from the set were all texting each other like, what the fuck, because they felt completely gaslit and were questioning their memories of certain scenes that she described in her complaint and thinking, hey, that's not what happened. That's not how it went. And a lot of ADs involved felt sick to their stomach and scared, worried they'd never be hired again, given the allegations she made, because it also made them look incredibly unprofessional and horrible if that behavior was in fact occurring and they did nothing. There was a lot of group chatter if I was part of this production, I would not put this movie on my resume. I would absolutely, like, it would be juicy to like talk to a news agency or a TikTok video, but like, I would not want this on my resume that I worked and helped run this set. Hell to the no. I don't want my other employers to know that. I'd be like, listen, I took a gap year. I took a year off. Ooh. Okay. There was a lot of group chatter amongst the crew that went around via text, but the overall consensus was confusion, shock, and struggling to try to recount any possible moment where Justin could have said or did anything to anyone on the set that made them feel uncomfortable. But the general consensus was absolutely not. Blake is a fucking crazy bitch. Why is she doing this? And just in general, panic, confusion, and fear for their own careers and livelihoods to ever be hired again. I also asked him, Push, was there an affair? My source said not that they knew of, unless something went down in the trailers or Blake's penthouse when no one else was around. They said that their honest impression of Justin was that he was just a nice guy and overcompensated in huge ways to make Blake happy, and was always complimenting her, smiling, etc., to be nice to her, because it was better for all of their sakes if she was in a good mood, and Justin picked up on that very early on. Which is interesting, because remember in the text messages that we have between Jamie Heath and some other unnamed producer? Well, in those messages, remember how they're just kind of like, he needs to rein her in and he keeps giving her everything that she wants. And like, people seem to be very upset that she kind of kept, bulldozing him and getting her way and taking advantage of his niceness. And they were just like, now she wants the dailies and now she wants this, and we don't think that she should have that. And so it seems like the other producers with probably more experience in this type of environment maybe felt like Justin just wasn't able to have control over the set. Blissful Musing says, any thoughts on how or when we will ever see Justin's cut if it ends with us? I mean, if this all finishes and wraps, I would imagine maybe we get that. But also, I don't know. I don't know what Blake's rights are in terms of releasing a cut of her work with that, because she's technically a producer on the film, and she ultimately did get her PGA mark, which she's credited for. If you look on IMDb, Blake is credited with her PGA mark for It Ends With Us. So I would imagine she would have some sort of control or power. It's probably written into her contract or her writer that the film is not allowed to be released the same way she forced Sony to give her, first right of refusal over all of the marketing materials. I would imagine she probably would not want Justin Baldoni to have his his cut ever released, and she probably has some sort of creative control over that. Did she ever sign the contract? I believe so. I believe she did. Eventually, yes. Okay. I also about the affair. Okay, so it's my source personally thinks, as do the ads, that Justin was terrified of Blake or making a mistake or making her angry, and they personally did not get the sense from Justin that he was very attracted to her, only that he wanted her to like him and to behave. Another thing my source said when I asked about the rest of the cast and their dynamic, they all felt like the other actor who was part of the main cast, like Jenny, might have lost a bit of respect for Justin, or just not having an air of authority around him, or treating them more of like friends than a director or a professional, and having control over them. This does make sense, right? Because like with his Baha'i faith and everything we've learned, it kind of seems like he would have an open, collaborative, creative environment. Footsie said, Zach, I started the live late, so this opinion may come off topic. I have followed the Meghan Markle situation before Megxit. When what she and Harry did was egregious. Same with Blake and Ryan. Yeah, I think that's why people kind of are lumping Meghan Markle and Blake Lively together, and people like myself are analyzing them both critically, because it does feel like they're very similar, right? And they use the media and they hijack these social movements in order, Blake very much is leaning into Me Too and Time's Up, and Meghan Markle very much leaning into the 2020 era, where racism was a really big topic of conversation, and I think they utilize those to hijack these movements in order to villainize these other people. And that's not to say that they may not have legitimate claims or whatever, or maybe they were legitimately uncomfortable or felt a certain way. They're absolutely entitled to feel that way. However, the bigger thing here is hijacking those movements and leaning into those movements to try and manipulate the public and make it more salacious than it actually is. Sharon says, I love what you're doing, Zach. I've been listening to you for a couple of years now. I just listened to this podcast, and she has some interesting takes on Blake. Oh, what's the podcast? There's also a petition going around asking for her PGA mark and her notification to be removed. I don't think petitions will be able to help with that. People, Zach is killing it here. Almost 2,800. Well, now we have 20. Yeah, we do have 2,800 watching live. Hit the like button, guys, and please subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Please, please, please. Love you. Appreciate you. Thank you. Paula's like my biggest cheerleader right now. Okay. Why did Blake take the part knowing that she just gave birth 3 months ago and is probably going through postpartum? I don't know. Okay. Yay. Thank you, Natalie. Natalie subscribed. Thank you, Natalie. Okay, last thing. One other thing. My source did mention Ryan's presence on set, with which everyone was weirded out about. So apparently he was spending time in Video Village. That's where all the directors, producers, writers, if present, ADs sometimes, are hanging out watching the monitors of what is going on. Almost also important, guests of the honor would sit there. Essentially, everyone who is important is given their little folding chair, and sometimes cast members will go in there in between scenes if they don't want to go back into the trailers and such. So interesting, because if you think about it, this also kind of makes sense, because remember, Blake was like, there were monitors and other people could see certain things, and she was very much bothered by the fact that, remember, there was the birthing scene, and she was like, people shouldn't have been able to see that, and the monitor should have been off. So now this does give context. This note of Video Village gives context as to where those other monitors may have been, where other people may have been able to watch. But as Baldoni has said, it was a closed set. He showed the production schedule for the day. He showed the copy of it where it does say that it was a closed set. Now, it's absolutely within the realm of possibility that that the production paper said it was a closed set, but that maybe it wasn't an actually closed set. But also, that's kind of, disrespectful to the rest of the crew members who all got a copy of the production schedule for the day, because if they're getting that copy of the production schedule, then they would see that it's a closed set, and they would know that there are certain procedures that need to be in place for a closed set. Like, there are multiple people, ADs, PAs, a bunch of people that are responsible for abiding by this. Like, Justin Baldoni can't personally be responsible for all of it. So I would imagine whoever's running this, whoever is running this Video Village, I would imagine that they would, oh, Apollo reminds us, but she wasn't naked. Right, because she had the fake belly on, and then they claimed that she had black briefs on, which is a very specific note. I think when you have two people that are telling us what happened that day, and one of them has access to the actual footage, I tend to believe the one that has access to the actual footage, which would be Baldoni's team, who claimed that she was wearing black briefs. Again, it's very specific. Black briefs are very specific, where she just said there was a small piece of fabric covering her down there, which could have been black briefs, but like a small piece of fabric. But we've also seen how she very much miscategorized the birthing video, right? Like that was very clear. But black, not nude. Well, I don't know. I mean, I would think if it was nude briefs, then that would be something that would be told. But also, if they're black briefs, then that makes it very clear that they're likely not going to be shooting anywhere close to there, because then you would obviously be able to see the black briefs. But again, the way she described it was, a small piece of fabric, which, yes, technically underwear would be a small piece of fabric. Black briefs would be technically a small piece of fabric, but it makes you think of like a little strip or a sock or something, right? Rose says, hit the subscribe button, please. Let's get Zack to 100K. I love that, you guys. I love that we're like all in this together. We're like on this mission to hit 100K together. I love it. Let's see, where are we at now? I think we broke 80K. We started at 81.5. We started this live at 81.5. It's not an accurate description of the real events. Which part? Bicep check. Oh, are we doing a bicep check? Okay, let's do a bicep check. Bicep check. I'm trying to get it from an angle where the mic isn't in the way. To be late all the time is typical behavior of a narcissist. I mean, I know. I personally, the briefs, yes. I hate throwing around the word narcissist. I feel like people throw like trauma and narcissist, and they throw around those terms way too loosely. It does appear that Blake may be a narcissist. Like the behavior just absolutely is in line with somebody that I would think is a true narcissist or has very strong narcissistic tendencies. Can Zack be part of the jury? I mean, I would love to, but I highly doubt. I think I would absolutely be considered prejudice, and they would have me removed immediately. Like I would be the first person that they have removed. Why is her marketability in Hollywood questioned? They expect people around the world to get Anisha. I mean, I don't know. We're gonna have to see. Like the video, 6 times more watching than likes. Support Zack. Thank you. I feel like you're Lisa Rinna at Andy Cohen's baby shower, where she got up on the table and she says, "All you housewives, get up on the table and dance for Andy now, now." But so yeah, this is why Bethany being like, "Oh, they're bullying her." I'm just like, girl, chill. We did not just fall out of a coconut tree. The thin piece of fabric could have been considered a thong. Could that have been considered? Well, it wasn't a thong. Why would she be wearing a thong in a birthing scene? That's even more crazy. Blake had no problem in Another Simple Favor making out with herself as part of her triplet. What? Wait, are you giving spoilers from the Another Simple Favor? That's cheating. You're not supposed to give spoilers. Which of Blake's claims do you think are the strongest legally? Ooh, that's interesting. Ooh, this is an interesting Reddit thread. Should we dive into this one? I don't know why. Sometimes I get notifications from Reddit threads. Sometimes it's like, oh, this is an Orange Theory hack, or here's a Jeff Lewis something, or here's a Bravo update. And then sometimes I don't know how notifications on Reddit work. I just know I have the app, and sometimes I'll get notifications. And this one just popped up from this woman, Sally4715, that says, which of Blake's claims do you think are the strongest legally? Blake has 15 causes of action in her amended complaint, with 9 of the 15 being harassment and retaliation. Based on the information we have now, which ones do you think she has a good chance of winning, and which ones do you think will be difficult? Ooh, that's an interesting thread. Maybe we should get into that. But before we do, before we do, I want to give some love in the club to this week's sponsors. And so first, I want to remind you guys that today is the final day to cash in those DoorDash savings. Okay? Listen. Spring is the season of love and new beginnings, and it's easier than you think to find love on an app, or at least a lunch that you love on the DoorDash app. Today is Wednesday, March 12th, which is the final day to clock in these savings, guys. Cash in. Whatever you're looking for, DoorDash and Panera Bread are teaming up to help you find your perfect match. Panera's You Pick Two offering lets you pair two items, like a cup of soup, half a salad, half a sandwich, and you put them together from Panera's menu. With over 800 possible combinations, it's easier to find your one true lunch right now. Like I said, today's the last day. You Pick Two delivered right to you with DoorDash. Steamy soup, refreshing salad, savory sandwiches. Find your perfect pairing today. Use code TRUELUNCH. That's TRUELUNCH, True Lunch, for 20% off your Panera You Pick Two order on DoorDash. This is your last chance, guys. Final day from March 3rd to March 12th. Today's March 12th. Wednesday, March 12th. Terms apply. For full terms, go to the Panera store page on DoorDash. Who doesn't love some good Panera soup and salad combos, right? Soup and salad, soup and sandwich, soup and salad, salad and sandwich, all the combos, all the possibilities. Kind of sounds nice. I could use some soup right now with this chilly weather in LA. But use code TRUELUNCH for 20% off your Panera You Pick Two order on DoorDash. Terms apply. For full terms, go to the Panera store page on DoorDash. Also, we need to give some love to my pals at Thrive Market, because you know what's crazy? Over 10,000 chemicals have entered our US food supply, yet the EU limits that to just 300 additives. Personally, I don't have time to sift through all the ingredient labels to see what's in my food, and so that's why I love using Thrive Market, because they take the guesswork out of it, right? They find it easy to find better options without the hassle. One of my favorites is their Healthy Swap scanner in the Thrive Market app. All you have to do is you scan an item. Instantly, it'll suggest cleaner, healthier grocery alternatives. And the best part is everything gets delivered directly to my door. I get my DoorDash box monthly, and I get to save on every order. Thrive Market also takes the guesswork out of finding safe, healthy foods, because all their products are 100% non-GMO and free from over 1,000 harmful chemicals. Okay? Definitely give them a try. If you're ready for a junk-free 2025, head on over to thrivemarket.com/nofilter and get 30% off your first order, plus a free $60 gift. That's Thrive, THRIVE, thrivemarket.com/nofilter. thrivemarket.com/nofilter. And lastly, I want to thank my pals at Pair Eyewear. Every time I have my pair glasses on, you guys are like, "Ooh, who's that? He looks so cute." And I'm like, I know. Thank you. So when you want to refresh how you see things, the world will become a more vibrant place. I know mine's more vibrant with my new blue blockers that I got from Pair Eyewear. Just in time for spring, Pair has 3 new colorways for the most iconic acetate-based frames. Take a peek at their new Cozy Honey, Soft Lavender, or Moody Gray frames. And don't forget that you can soften or bolden your look in a snap with their endless collection of top frames, right? I have 2 of the top frames right here. So you have your base frames, and then you have your top frame, and you just snap it on, bop, and then you're like, wait, I'm not feeling that vibe. That doesn't match my outfit. I want to have something a little more hipster. So let me switch to this one. Oh yeah, this one's a little trendier. This one's feeling kind of cute. This one's a little classic, but maybe you want to switch out, right? You want to switch your options. You can go from day to night, night to day, fancy to cash, whatever you want. You can find your perfect frame, and you can also use their virtual try-on, which I love because you can see how it looks online before you place that order. Base frame start at just $60, and your FSA or HSA could be used to cover your prescription eyewear. Plus, you get 15% off when you use code NOFILTER at paireyewear.com. Like I said, base frames start at just $60, with top frames, which are these babies, starting at just $25. Free shipping on US orders, free returns and exchanges within 30 days, no questions asked. Earn points to score dollars off your next purchase with their loyalty program. So many savings to clock in on. Upgrade how you see the world and how the world sees you. Go to paireyewear.com and use code NOFILTER for 15% off your first pair. And you can support the show by mentioning that No Filter with Zack Peter sent you in your post-checkout survey. That's Pair Eyewear, PAIR, paireyewear.com, code NOFILTER. Use code NOFILTER. Get those savings. Get the savings. Okay. Nice sunglasses. Thank you. Thank you, Aurora. I appreciate that. Okay. Can we all mention the brother and sister of that movie? Yeah, well, I don't know who's seen A Simple Favor, and I don't know if no spoilers for Another Simple Favor. I want to make sure that would be interesting because Blake did. I mean, I guess somebody kind of just revealed what that spoiler was. They revealed it in the live chat. I accidentally said it because we read it, but like that would make sense because Blake Lively is like, oh my God, there's such a crazy, weird twist in this film that's like, it's kind of weird and it's kind of twisted and it's kind of all these things, which would then kind of make sense, but also kind of weird if you think about it, right? If she makes out with her triplet sister, because obviously the twin, gets whacked in the first film. But if there is a triplet, again, I guess that's the plot twist. Somebody spoiled it in the live chat. Sorry, but you guys weren't going to watch it anyway, okay? You guys weren't going to watch it at all. So let's not even pretend that we are sad by this. Which of Blake's claims do you think are strong legally? Okay, so let's listen to I actually think that this is good. Here's some of my thoughts based off what we know so far. So far, I'm not a lawyer, so please feel free to correct anything I have wrong. For SH, I think it will come down to if she will be able to prove the severe and pervasive part. We might see expert witnesses for both sides trying to prove or disprove whether or not a reasonable person in her shoes would have felt the same given all of the context. With what we know so far, this one seems hard for her to win, but juries are unpredictable. Very true. Very true. Retaliation. So yeah, SH I think will be hard for her to prove because again, you have to prove that the work environment was toxic. And so far, all we know is that Donna spilled the spoil. Donna spilled the spoil. Damn it, Donna. I'm gonna have to chew her out later. Yeah, you have to prove that it was like pervasive and consistent and that she consistently felt this way, and despite bringing up her concerns, like the behavior continued, she would have to prove that. And so far, all we know is that Justin Baldoni usually creates a toxically positive workplace. His workplace is usually full of toxic positivity, not pervasive harassment. So that'll be interesting. Dave Neal covered the change in the New York Times article. Oh, they changed the title of the article? What? Hold on, let's look this up. The New York Times Blake Lively article. Oh, we can bury. No, it's the same. Yeah, it's all the same. We can bury anyone inside a Hollywood smear machine. What did it say initially? I don't know if it said anything else different. Private messages detail alleged. Yeah. No, that was the original one. And then read Blake Lively's complaint against Wayfair Studios. Yep. I don't see the New York Times article. They changed smear to tarnish, I think, in the article, not the title. We can bury anyone. Continue. Oh my God. I hate that I now have to sign up. Okay. Because I had to pay for this. Let's see. We can bury. Let's pull up the article for. Well, I guess I don't. Now that it's behind a paywall, I don't think I'm legally allowed to share it with you. We can bury anyone inside Hollywood smear machine. Private text messages detail an alleged campaign to tarnish Blake Lively after she accused Justin Baldoni of misconduct on the set of It Ends With Us. We have the video. Got it. Last summer, text messages. Let's find tarnish. Oh, private messages detail an alleged campaign to tarnish Blake Lively after she accused Justin Baldoni. Is that not what it said before? Smear. So they changed it from smear to tarnish. Interesting. Does it say anything? Because usually there's an editor's note at the bottom. That's going to be very key if there is or isn't. Remember, we got that. A version of this article appears on December 2023's print edition of the New York Times with the title "Alleged Effort to Strike Back at Star Actress." Okay, so it originally said alleged effort to strike back at the star actress is what it originally said. Okay. And yet in the title it now says an alleged campaign to tarnish Blake Lively. I don't understand what was different or why it's groundbreaking. I'm confused. Yeah. The coconut tree line is epic. Thank you. It's a question of why they changed their reference from the text messages to a legal complaint. Well, I thought that they say that they were via subpoena. Actually, let's go back. Blake Lively just okay. We can bury it. Okay. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna go back to share screen. Give me a sec. Okay, so here's what's interesting. Her filing includes excerpts from thousands of pages of text messages and emails that she obtained through a subpoena. These other documents were reviewed by the New York Times. Now, this is what's so key is the word subpoena, because usually, how does a subpoena work? How does one obtain a subpoena? How do you get a subpoena? No. Okay, so to get a subpoena, typically an attorney acting on behalf of a client's request, one from the clerk who then issues it and signs it, which can be then served on the designated individual or party. Okay, so we need typically an attorney acting on behalf of a client requests one from the court clerk who then issues it and signs it. I guess what? Okay, so an attorney who is a member of the bar where the case is pending can request a subpoena. Okay, got it. How to obtain a subpoena. So you would need it from the clerk's office. Got it. Fill out the form. The clerk's role is to take the completed subpoena form to the clerk, and then the clerk will sign it, stamp it, and issue subpoenas. Serving the subpoena, once issued, the subpoena must be served on the intended party. That typically involves in-person delivery, sometimes called personal service, though depending on the jurisdiction of the case, other methods can be possible. Subpoena for records or documents. If you need someone to produce documents or records, use a subpoena duces tecum. This type of subpoena requires the person to bring specific documents to the court or a desired location. Okay, what exactly is a subpoena? A subpoena is a legal document typically issued by a court that commands a person or entity to appear at a specific time and place, like a deposition, trial, or hearing, to testify as a witness or to produce documents or other tangible objects relevant to a legal proceeding. But don't you have to get so can any attorney just let's ask that question. Can any attorney issue a subpoena? Yes, in California, an attorney can issue a subpoena to compel a witness to appear in court, produce documents, or both. However, the subpoena must be signed and sealed by a court clerk or by the attorney of record for a party. But you don't have to always answer to a subpoena then, right? Or do you? This is what's so confusing. Now, did I miss the tea on Anna's alleged bad behavior on set? Oh, I don't have behavior about Anna. Maybe do you want us to dig into Anna's alleged behavior? I think I talked about that yesterday, but I haven't dug deep into Anna's behavior. We're so focused on Blake's behavior. Someone said subpoenas won't get you full text messages, just data. The timeline is not working for the complaint. Yeah. How can you get a subpoena before you have an active case? So that's the part that's confusing for me. And that's why I'm Googling all these questions right now, because that's the part that for me is the most challenging. Is like, can an attorney just decide, you know what? Today I'm going to subpoena someone for text messages. And then that person, has to, that's not how something works. How does the court clerk determine who is eligible? How does the clerk determine if a subpoena is valid? Yes. A court clerk determines subpoena validity by verifying it's a proper court order, checking for essential details like issuing court case number and the witness's role, ensuring compliance with the court rules, and assessing its legal reach and scope. Right? Here's a more detailed breakdown. The document must be a legitimate court document or a legitimate court order identifiable by a judge's signature and stamp instead of a clerk or attorney's signature, and should clearly state court order on the document. A valid subpoena must include the name of the court that issued it, the title of action and its civil action number, the name and contact information of the attorney initiating the subpoena, the names of the parties involved, the specific actions required of the witness to attend court, produce documents, etc., the time, date, and place where the witness is expected to appear, testify, or produce materials, and information regarding the witness's rights to object to the subpoena and their duties respond. So did somebody cut corners here? Because there was no active case at the time that this came out. There was a CRD complaint, but is a CRD complaint enough to subpoena? And also, from what we know, the CRD complaint wasn't even filed until December 20th, or at least that's what was reported. So, oh, wait, here we go. In California, you can subpoena before filing the C. Okay. Interesting. But she didn't have a judge because there was no open case yet, right? I'm confused. Well, according to MP in the live chat, you can subpoena before filing a CRD complaint. I don't know if that's true or not, though. The court just signs off as long as there's a case and the document is valid. Well, I guess in this case, if she had the CRD complaint, there appeared to be a case, the document appeared to be valid. The filing of a subpoena should be available on public record. Why hasn't anyone found proof that it was filed? I guess because we don't have confirmation that it was filed, which would also, that if that's the case, then that sounds like misinformation reported by the New York Times. This is the next piece that we have to dig up: is was there actually a subpoena? Because we know that the text messages were turned over by Stephanie Jones, so they didn't have to go to Baldoni, they didn't have to go to Jennifer Abel, they went directly to Stephanie Jones, and Stephanie Jones of Jones Work PR is the one that ultimately gave them these text messages. Now they're just claiming that the text messages were relinquished via subpoena, but we haven't done. Oh, here we go. New York County Clerk Index Number. What is this, Sam? So we have index number 659849-2024, filed 12/24/2024. Wait, what was filed 12/24? Because if something was filed, if the subpoena was filed 2024, or sorry, on the 24th of 2024, the article was published on the 23rd, and I believe the CRD complaint, yeah, this article was published on the 23rd, right? Which is confirmed down here. Dun, 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 dun. Confirmed here. So the article was published on December 23rd, 2024. But wait, Sam B, can you please confirm Jones versus Abel and Nathan? Oh, that's her. That's Stephanie Jones's. Okay, so Sam B is referencing Stephanie Jones's lawsuit against Jennifer Abel and Melissa Nathan. Compare that to the New York Times. But how would that help Blake Lively's case with the CRD complaint? That doesn't make sense. They probably saw the text first via cell phone device and filed the subpoena after Stephanie Jones sued Jennifer Abel. But hold on, no, Jennifer Abel didn't turn over the text messages via subpoena to Stephanie Jones. Jennifer Abel left Jones Work PR, took Wayfair and Justin Baldoni with her, and then because the phone was a company phone, Stephanie Jones confiscated the cell phone from Jennifer Abel. That's the law. That's Stephanie Jones' lawsuit, but that's after the article, and she cannot share evidence with Blake. Correct. So if there was a subpoena, but also Stephanie Jones did not subpoena Jennifer Abel. Again, Jennifer Abel left Jones Work PR, and Stephanie Jones obtained her work cell phone, which had all of the text messages on it. I'm assuming she went through that, probably knew that there was some sort of like crisis PR element in there that she then sprinkled a lot more chili sauce all over and then gave it to Blake. And, you know, My opinion, never a subpoena. SJ turned over. Yeah, Stephanie Jones turned over the text and Blake requested a subpoena. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what happened too. I think Stephanie Jones is the one that offered up this information. And then they're like, okay, how do we legally cover our asses? Is what it appears to be. That's all conjecture. Is that legal? I don't know. The lawsuit is filed after the CRD complaint and the text messages were already in the New York Times. Yep. You can't use a subpoena for a different case. Yeah, but again, these are not this. If there was a subpoena, the New York Times is claiming Blake Lively's team subpoenaed these messages from Stephanie Jones, who owned those text messages because her company owned Jennifer Abel's phone. Yeah. Okay. Look at the New York Times. They use the same text but used as Blake's. Stephanie Jones took Jennifer Abel's phone on August 21st, 2024. Correct. But the claim is that Jennifer Abel's phone records were obtained via subpoena by Jones or Pierre. Blake says that in the footnote of the article. Correct. Which means Blake would have had to have subpoenaed Stephanie Jones, which also means, or Jones or PR rather, which also means if she had to subpoena them in order to get the messages, she had to have known what was in the messages, right? And so in this case, I think Stephanie Jones went to them and gave them a tip and was like, there was a smear campaign. I think Stephanie Jones, I stand by that. I think Stephanie Jones is the one that spearheaded all of this. So why do they need the subpoena then? Well, Blake would need the subpoena to get the messages from. Well, actually, I don't know. I mean, because I would also think that Stephanie Jones wouldn't need to be subpoenaed if she wanted to voluntarily hand over that information. She could voluntarily hand over that information to help her. I don't think she would need a subpoena unless the subpoena was issued so that they can say, oh, we did, unless it was like an attempt to cover their asses, is really what it sounds like. This is not what All of Teeth said in her amended complaint about the subpoena. What does she say in the amended complaint about the subpoena? Page 6 of the filing, Nathan to Abel text. It's really sad because it just shows you have people really want to hate women, referring to Stephanie Jones. Yeah. I don't know. Do we believe that there's a subpoena? I kind of feel like there maybe wasn't a subpoena. Like, kind of feels like. Here, we'll put that as a poll in the live chat. Do you believe there was a subpoena? Let's see. A PI agency will do a Cellbrite pool, but you need a password. It costs almost nothing, believe me, as a former PI, and most of your work is infidelity in child custody. Blake Lively can't use Stephanie's subpoena in her complaint. But again, Stephanie Jones, I don't believe, had a subpoena. She said that as far as Blake knew, there was a legal subpoena for the text messages. They put it in their legal filing, so there must be one. Oh, because they've been so honest before? I think they think just because they say things that means that, like, we're just supposed to believe them. But if anything, there have been too many inconsistencies at this point. I think Stephanie Jones tried to start a smear campaign in order to turn Blake so Jones could blame Abel for all the Jones allegations from 2023 to 2024 to save her reputation and her business. Well, we know that there was some sort of fallout between Stephanie Jones and Jennifer Abel. There was a crack there and something fell through, and we don't know what that is exactly, but something happened. So I don't know. Doesn't there have to be a claim in court in order for a subpoena to be implemented? Yeah, maybe I'll have on. We'll do another episode with Ask Two Lawyers. I'll have them back on and see what they say about all of this, because that just seems wild. Does the person who served the subpoena need to keep anonymity, or is that public knowledge? I don't know. Oh, well, I would assume they would need to keep anonymity. There had to be a subpoena for her to give the confidential information with her former client. Correct. Well, in this case, it wouldn't become yes, that is true. There would have to be a subpoena, at least for the plan of action. Remember that, like, list of 3 different contingencies of, like, worst case scenario, in order for her to turn that over. Yes, because that's related to the client, but it wouldn't necessarily. But the text messages, well, I guess no, because Melissa Nathan wasn't employed by her. I don't know. That's also strange. What is this? Oh my God. Yes, you can sue for text privacy violations. Right. Yeah. Yes, it's an invasion of privacy. It would be an invasion of privacy case, but it's not. Okay. Subpoena text to verify the source where they came from the correct number and to verify that they were not altered. I don't know. Something about Friedman will know. I'm sure Friedman is prepared for all of this. Protective order on the subpoena. I like it's so, but again, it's all so weird. As two lawyers mentioned, you asked about this. Yes, I asked. Yeah, I did. Well, I asked them about like how I didn't ask in detail because obviously now we're coming up with so much more. Uh, this is like our think tank, and we're like workshopping this all together. We're like, I feel like we're all in like a conference room, and we're all just kind of like workshopping and trying to like dig up information. And you bring your information, you bring your experience, and you're a PI, and you worked at the clerk's office, and yada yada yada. I don't believe the timeline was correct for the New York Times. They screwed up, even if their publication will be hard to refute. Yes, I agree. I think the timeline is off because it appears the CRD complaint was filed on December 20th. The article was published on December 23rd. Melissa Nathan's, or not Melissa Nathan, Stephanie Jones's lawsuit was on the 24th. Which, why are you filing lawsuits on Christmas Eve? I mean, you could also be Jewish, but still. Zach, you had a legal rock star in the chat, Cassidy O'Connell. Oh, where's Cassidy? Shout out Cassidy. Shout out Cassidy. 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 Yes. No. They would amend their current lawsuit, not file a new one, and certainly not for 400 mil for text privacy. Is Kate Castillo? Yeah, well, left Kate's. Oh, Kate. Well, let's get Kate on the podcast sometime. Okay, what other news do we have since as we crack down the subpoena case? Maybe I'll have two attorneys back on and we'll do that. What else? Oh, Meghan Markle got a season 2. Well, that's what's being reported. And again, this is how we report things, and it's all kind of deceptive, right? Because like it's just, it's silly. But so apparently Meghan Markle signed a 16 episode deal with Netflix, and that is being broken up into a part 1 and part 2, or season 1 or season 2. So they could have released all 16 episodes at once, or they could have broken it up into like 4, 4, 4, or 6 and 6. But it's just she didn't get a season 2. And do we even want to watch any more? I watched the first 2 episodes, and to me that was kind of enough. Like I was over it after the second episode. Lewis says deport Harry. Well, I know a lot of people don't like Trump, but his response to that was actually pretty funny, where Trump said he has no interest in deporting Prince Harry. He's like, he's got enough to worry about with his wife. I'm not going to add more to that plate, which I just thought was funny. Can someone tell me, is it true that her contract was not signed till nearly the end of the movie? Well, we don't know. We don't have confirmation as to when the contract was finally signed, but we do know that Baldoni's team was claiming that she kept delaying signing her contract. And so this happens a lot, right? I think even Bethany Frankel's talked about it, how a lot of times you'll go into deals, you'll start off projects as you're still negotiating final terms of a project. So eventually the contract is going to be signed. It's just a matter of like what the final details are. So in this case, yeah. But yeah, Meghan Markle got her season 2. Good for her. Secret Lives of Mormon Wives season 2. That's going to be coming out in May 15th, I believe. I had on Whitney Levitt, who was the like villain. I got to interview her last season, so maybe I'll get to interview her again. I would love to. I mean, that interview went viral. That was all over the place. Like people loved that interview. It did a hell of a lot better than the 2 Taylors. What else? And then The Valley season 2 is coming April 15th. Bravo released the trailer for that. That looks juicy. It's Miss Juicy Baby. It's Miss Juicy Baby. So, yes, the two lawyers are confused. See, because so much of this is confusing, right, Roman? They don't understand what subpoena. Yeah, because yeah. Well, we don't. Are subpoenas public record? I don't know. It's just kind of strange. The whole subpoena thing, it's weird, and it kind of feels like, well, one, I don't think we're spending enough attention on that, but two, I also just feel like there's a lot. Natalie says the Valley looks like drama with a dash of hot. The Valley season 2 looks so freaking good, and just the amount of drama that we have, and that's real. That shit happens in the Valley. Housewives is becoming a little fake and produced, but the Valley and these people, they're so messy, it's crazy. Two lawyers weren't sure how the subpoena happened. They are not public record. Got it. Thank you, Haley. Yeah, I'm not sure how the subpoena happened either. It's just it's strange. I don't understand it. That's why I'm like, let me talk to the two lawyers, and they don't understand it. And I'm like, well, shit. Now, no, we're all confused. Now we all just fell out of the coconut tree yet again. Guys, no subpoena was required in the first place. I have a feeling that Stephanie wanted to get back at her former employee and flat out told Blake Lively they allegedly acquired those subpoena. Yeah, that's Demo. You and I are on the same page. I agree with you. I don't. Stephanie Jones could have just gone to Blake and said, "Hey, here are the text messages." She didn't need to be subpoenaed. So the fact that they're even saying that there was a subpoena is very strange. Okay, so we're at 80% of people believe the subpoena was not real. 20% of people believe that there was a subpoena. I don't believe that the subpoena was real. Sorry, I just don't. I don't believe that the subpoena was real. Until we see, because it just doesn't make sense. They don't need to subpoena the text messages. Stephanie Jones owned them. It's her company property. She could turn it over if she wanted to. She wouldn't need to be subpoenaed. Yeah, no. There's still privacy laws with employees' phones. Again, confidential information. Depends on the company policy. Love the poll edition. Yeah, I think we'll do more of the polls. I'm behind on this live, but I would give anything to be on the jury. Thank you, Kara. I've worked in the legal field since 1998. Okay, Jude, enlighten us. I don't see any way there was a subpoena for this case. This would have been legal. That would have been. Wait. I've worked in the legal field since 1998. I don't see any way that. I'm assuming that's supposed to mean a subpoena. That a subpoena for this case like this would be legally issued. Subpoena like this would go through the telecom company, not the owner. Exactly. It doesn't make sense. It just nothing about that. And I feel like we're not, or Baldoni's team isn't fighting that enough, or maybe they will down the line. But something about the whole subpoena thing just is strange. If the subpoena does not exist, that just gives more information that Blake is not credible. But I also feel like it would, well, I guess I was going to say, but then that would also be bad for the New York Times. But they can also, as they've already been arguing, just say, we trusted our source. Our source gave us this information, and we trusted the information that was given to us. We maybe didn't do our due diligence, but you know what? We did what was required of us, the bare minimum. Jones owed the phone and paid the monthly. Yeah. Again, it depends on the company policy. Hot take. Find it interesting that the news cycle and YouTube, TikTok content was flooded with Meghan news after the CIA started working. Has Ari Emanuel thrown Meghan to the wolves to protect Blake and his workplace violation? I don't know. I don't know if it's that deep. I just feel like Meghan's show dropped. And because Meghan's show dropped, there was just a lot of interest, you know? Okay, but didn't a lawyer say that there are 65 pages at the subpoena, and she said thousands of pages, including the subpoena? I don't know. She was under confidentiality contract as a PR company. She had to have a subpoena. She's not releasing any info about her client necessarily, though. She would just be releasing information from one of her former employees. Love the Ask Two lawyers. They also talked about filing in different states. Yes. The devil is in the details. That it is. Great poll. If there was a subpoena, I'd love to know how. Yeah, that's Yes, guys, hit the like button if you're watching and enjoying the show. Great point about the subpoena. Thank you. Sounds like legacy media doing the absolute bare minimum. Well, they basically make that argument, Blair. Like that's what they're saying and trying to get the case dismissed. They tell the judge, like, listen, we did what we were required of, and like we even went above and beyond by even asking Baldoni to give us a statement. Like we didn't have to do that. Like we did him a solid by asking him, to give us a statement. Like, really? Did you do him a solid? Because he completely destroyed his reputation, from my opinion. But then again, as we learned from the New York Times, you can have opinions in the media. You can get, you can't be sued for it because that's just your opinion. Jones is going to change her story to claim that she was threatened with a subpoena, but there was not a subpoena. Yeah. Yes, guys, we're trying to get to 100K. So if you want, I said I took Dave Neal's idea when I was on his show. He gave me the idea. Subscribe. Yes. And so I said, as Dave Neal said, if I get to 100K on YouTube, then I will fly to New York and cover the trial live. So stay tuned for that. It'll be interesting. Should I do like YouTube live? I probably maybe have to do like Instagram live. I don't know. I would have to figure out how we would live that TikTok live on TikTok. I don't know. IDK. They're going to scrub the internet. They're going to try. Friedman is waiting to discuss the details about what he calls an illegal subpoena. Oh, did he call it that? And listen, I can't wait. This is what I mean. Like the more we dive into this, the crazier it's going to get. It's going to get wild. Okay. On that note, thank you. Yes, please subscribe on Apple, subscribe on YouTube, follow along on Spotify, leave some comments. Let's give some Spotify. Let's do some shout outs before we wrap up this live. But thank you guys for tuning in. I really do appreciate you. You guys have been the absolute best, and I love you forever and ever and ever. Let's see here from yesterday's show. So many. Hey, this is from Sanal. Sanal says, "Hey Zach, I love listening to you here from London. You're so good looking too. Oh my God, you guys are so sweet. Thank you." Sarah says, "The tens of millions of dollars going out for a ball of BS while people don't have homes, meals, and beyond makes me sick. It's just gross. You're great, Zach, and thank you for reporting on this." Thank you, Sarah. Mama Riley says, "Yes, you tell them assholes that they're talking shit about you. I keep getting called a bot for defending Justin Baldoni and demanding justice for him." We have Danny from Ireland. Hi, Danielle. Lawrence Mary says, "Love you. You're allowed to speak your opinion. And if they don't want it, they don't have to listen. I listen to you because you speak the truth." Thank you. Melissa says, "Ryan Reynolds got jealous because he is possessive or because Blake really liked Justin and Ryan forced Blake to file complaints that prove that Blake didn't like Justin." I have bought into that theory too. I think that's absolutely true. Absolutely. Only 18,000 more to go for 100K. Zach, you were the first podcast. Oh, Casey Viovodich. Zach, you were the first podcast I heard about Blake and Justin drama. You've been thorough with investigating all the facts, and it's kept me listening to you daily. I also love that you're not afraid to share your political views. Keep doing what you're doing. I can't wait to see what you do next. Thanks for keeping me entertained. Thank you, Casey. Thank you, guys. These are so sweet. Wow, that's so many comments on yesterday's episode on Spotify. So you can watch the show. You can watch full episodes of the show on Spotify and also listen on Apple Podcasts. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you guys. All right. This is where I leave you. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. I'll be talking to you tomorrow. Talking to you on Thursday on the podcast. I'll be back here. We live stream Monday through Friday mornings on YouTube. And you can always catch new episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere you listen to your podcasts. Give me a follow, Just Plain Zach. Follow the podcast at No Filter with Zach if you want to stay up with the latest tea. And I will talk to you guys later. Ciao for now. Bye.